Yo, yo, yo. What is up, my peoples? What's going on, everybody? It's Friday, baby. It's Friday. We've got video gaming news, of course, for today, February 16th. We're going to dive into that in a moment. We've got an amount of, whatever was given to us in the Xbox showcase. The business briefing, if you will. we'll summarize that here in a moment in the video gaming news stuff. I don't think that it was nearly as much as people were hoping it would be. It wasn't for me. It was kind of vague, to be honest. And but we'll break it back down, and we'll find out what else we can find to dive into for the industry, what's popping, what's new, and then we'll go play day one of Stardew Valley. Woo wee, yeah, man. It's a game I've been wanting to play for a long time. It's been weird trying to find a time to fit it in because I was pretty sure that I would need to dump a lot of time into it. So, with that being said, I've been informed that this is a game that's going to be fairly easy to pick up and put down. So be aware that this is going to be our kind of plug and play game as we move forward. We have a lot of games coming out this year that we're going to play, and our schedule, we try to remain as agile as possible with the schedule. So it's going to be something for us where we're going to be playing Stardew Valley for the next 4 days. Then we're probably going to be trying Nightingale out. Then who knows, maybe we'll play some weekend Stardew Valley stuff. Maybe we'll play it for a few days before Unicorn Overlord drops, but then we have Dragon's Dogma 2. It's going to be one of those games. I had a lot of time slated for Stardew Valley potentially for like late summer, early autumn, fall time frame. And we're just going to go ahead and start diving in there and use it as a filler game for us that we can utilize for those kind of time frames where we don't have something specific planned in between game drops and stuff. So I'm excited to get in there and play Stardew Valley. I know it's a phenomenal game. Consensus by most people's experience. Most people have found Stardew Valley to be a phenomenal experience. And we have Haunted Chocolatier also coming from Concerned Ape. And so it would be nice to get Stardew Valley, a pretty thorough, nice experience of Stardew Valley taken care of before Haunted Chocolatier comes our way, So that's what we're going to do, and it'll be a great day. It'll be a fantastic Friday. The weekend's here, which means everybody should be stoked as well. And so I guess let's go ahead and do what we do, man. Let's dive in here and let's start off video gaming news so we can work our way into Stardew Valley. Cool? Let's go. Let's do this. You know what's not near those, Soup? I don't even need to say it, bro. Oh, bro. You're a trip, dude. What's up? Good morning, dude. Or I know it's not morning for you, but it's morning for me, so I'll tell you good morning. How you doing, buddy? Don't you dare. Don't you dare say that to me. I can see, I can feel Soup giving me the stink eye right now, He's stink eyeing me hard. Soup giving me the old stink eye right out the gate this morning. Watched Xbox's Tombstone yesterday. It was just real lackluster. I felt like it was so vague. They just didn't really give us anything, Other than what I had already been telling everybody what you should expect out of Xbox for a while now, Um, you know, the only real big thing was, and funny enough, I had uploaded a video on YouTube about, because we had been hearing word that it was going to be Starfield, so I uploaded a video where we had seen an article, and I uploaded a video talking about how now PS5 players would get to experience the emptiness of Starfield, and somebody commented, and I uploaded it yesterday, early morning, before the Xbox showcase even happened, and the article was from our news segment on Tuesday, you know, so like the 13th. But then somebody hopped on there, they're like, you know, Phil Spencer said that Starfield's not even part of it, and you know, I was like, look, man, look when this was posted, you know. Well, so look, dude. Okay, so here's the thing with that, Soup. Buying all those studios and no new games still. They don't even have. I mean, dude, when did when were they able to fully acquire Activision? We've talked about this, but in all honesty, I know you're probably trolling a little bit, but in reality, we've talked about how long does it make to. So. How long does it take to make AAA games, right? Roughly 4 to 7 years, sometimes even more. Grand Theft Auto, you know what I mean? And so when you talk about that, and you're talking about trying to blame Xbox for maybe like the Activision Blizzard, not you know, buying studios and not having new games yet or whatever, dude, you can't expect, you know, Activision Blizzard under Microsoft to have new games right away. That's not the way that works, right? It's just not the way that works. Even the games that they have in development right now were not games that were initiated by Microsoft. They were games that were initiated development-wise under their own volition, right? It was of them. Now that they're under Microsoft's control, there's going to be an entire breakdown process of what kinds of projects were already in development that should proceed forward, what projects and you know, game development projects want to be initiated as a viewpoint from Microsoft's perspective specifically. There's going to be a lot of that. But as far as like, you know, specifically their latest acquisitions of Activision Blizzard, you can't expect them to have anything out for years underneath them for what Microsoft it wanted them to do. You know what I mean? They're going to have titles that release under Activision Blizzard, of course, right? Because they've had projects running for, you know, way before this acquisition happened that are still going to end up becoming a thing, right? Being finished and published and things. But people need to understand that it's going to take time for the games that Xbox or Microsoft and Xbox want Activision and Blizzard to be developing to come out. And what else are you talking about here? 3 garbage games. Have we even seen, because they didn't even say what the games were going to be. All they said was no Starfield, right? And I don't know if I believe them, to be honest. I don't even know if I believe them. Verge already had the sauce. Interesting. Nice. Yo. Cool. We'll probably come across it then. Oh, look at you, baby. You got it, dude. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Check that out. Yo, thanks, buddy. Cool. We might have come across this in our search, but dude, I appreciate this. Nice. Yeah. 3 garbage? No. No. What? What are you talking about? What? Hi-Fi Rush is a banger. I haven't played Pentiment, so I don't really know. It was supposed to be decent. Sea of Thieves, people love Sea of Thieves. And I've played Grounded. Grounded is amazing, dude. Okay. You're judging a game solely on how it looks? Get wrecked, noob. You can't do that. Everybody wanted to talk about how good Alan Wake 2 looked. That game was balls. You can't judge a game just on what it looks like. You can't do that. Dude, I have played so many banger 2D games. I played a phenomenal one last year. Dave the Diver. Yo, I'll tell you this. Dave the Diver was $20 and I got 55 hours out of it. And was phenomenal. Phenomenal 2D game. Side scroller. This is the problem. That is not the right mindset, dude. That's not the right mindset. Not every game has to be of the latest and greatest graphical fidelity. It just doesn't, dude. It doesn't. No way, bro. It's fine if like you know, I enjoy a nice looking game as much as the next person, but first and foremost, the game needs to feel good. It needs to have good content. It needs to be finished. It needs to be polished. If it looks good on top of that, fantastic. But if a game looks good and all those other components aren't there, who gives a crap? Because who wants to play a game that looks good but plays like crap or has terrible content? You know what I'm saying? So it takes a lot of pieces to come together to create great video games. And a visually appealing piece of entertainment for video games can be very nice, but it's not the thing that matters the most. I will stand by that day in and day out, dude. No doubt about it. So you can have your $150 final beta tester AAA games, and I'll take my $20 Dave the Diver experiences where I'm getting 60 hours where you're getting your 20. You know what I mean? You can have it, bro. You can have it. Dave the Diver was a banger, dude. So hard to get. No way, dude. That game was. And look, and I'll say this: everybody is welcome to their opinion. My experience, the gameplay was confusing. What? I disagree. I felt like the gameplay was very straightforward and very intuitive, very seamless. The thing that I found was that it was very refreshing to play every single day. Every single day I played that game, there was something new brought to the table for me. Not only was the gameplay refreshing because there were different biomes, there was a lot of good progression, there was upgrading in the game, so it felt very good in an amount of an RPG aspect. There was also great characters. It was very, very funny. There were always new kinds of gameplay mechanics being implemented. Every day I played that game, dude. The harpoons and all. How does that even... What do you mean? Older, but it got to light. What are you talking about? What is this? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, we'd already kind of seen this these leaks about the shirts and stuff. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we had seen that. Yeah. Something about your oxygen tank. Well, yeah, you've got oxygen limits too in the game, but that's part of the upgrade system as well. So I mean, that's all part of the progression. You get to unlock with more resources and stuff as you gather while you. You've got to play the game, dude. You've got to play the game to unlock upgrades and everything. That's part of playing the game. Well, I don't know what to tell you, bro. You know, but that game was a banger, dude. It was. Yo, thanks. Yeah, we had seen this. Yeah, we had already seen that. Yeah, appreciate it. But we do have these up, and I have this up from you yesterday as well. Thanks, buddy. Let's see what else we got here. But I will disagree with your notion that those 4 games are meh. Hi-Fi Rush was fantastic. And I haven't played Pentiment or Sea of Thieves, but I know there are a lot of people that love Sea of Thieves. And Grounded, I have played. I am like right at the end of that game actually with Pinky. We just haven't finished it yet. And Grounded was phenomenal. That's an Obsidian game. Very, very, very good. Very good. So, yeah, I don't know. Xbox, Nintendo, or PlayStation, does it still matter? Yeah. Just because Xbox is pivoting in this direction, and they have been for a long time. Like, dude, I've been talking about this forever now. Xbox has been changing directions for quite a while. It's becoming quite obvious now, though, because they're being very open about it. PlayStation and Nintendo are still going to be traditional in their market ploys, the way they approach the console market. Jesus Christ. Another EA game. Yeah, the NCAA game, dude. Bandai revealed it recently canceled 5 games. And look, I respect, so let me be very clear here. In regards to us discussing our differences between the games we like and dislike and stuff, I will respect people's likes and dislikes of games, right? But I will obviously state my opinion about, a game as well, and what I found to be my own experience with that game. So if I've played many games that I liked and loved that other people have disliked, and I respect that, because not everybody is the same, and that's okay, actually. That's absolutely fine. And the vice, the opposite has been the same way. There have been games that other people have really enjoyed that I really did not like very much, and that's okay as well. As long as you can, like, in a state to me in a pretty good way what it was about the titles that list me the pros and cons in a pretty detailed manner. You know what I mean? If you can do that to me and explain why you liked or disliked a game, I'm absolutely going to listen to you and understand where you're coming from. You know what I mean? But if it's just because you didn't play the game long enough to understand what the mechanics were or whatever, that's not really fair, dude. Wait, what, Sue? What are you talking about? Oh, you're crazy, bro. All right, let's see what else we got. Yeah. This will turn into more games, though. Be prepared for that. Like I said before, looks like we found out what the games are, and we'll talk about that. But this is just the first kind of, you know, Xbox and Microsoft dipping their toes in the water, if you will, to get a taste of how this is going to pop off for them. There will be more to come here. There will. No reason to buy an Xbox. Well, yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with you. And I'll say this. I see no reason to buy a PlayStation. You know? I haven't seen a reason to buy a PlayStation for, you know, since PS3. And it's become more and more obvious to me. And we came across an article yesterday. Yeah, well, I know. You didn't see that coming, huh? Well, here's the deal, dude. Just like you're saying no reason to buy an Xbox, it's the same exact thing for PlayStation for any PC gamer, right? So you're saying no reason to buy an Xbox because you have a PlayStation and you're getting Xbox games on PlayStation, right? But you're not getting them day one. You're willing to wait, right? You're willing to wait for any, you know, of these Xbox games that are going to be coming your way that you're interested in playing, that won't be there day one on release, but will eventually probably hit your platform of preference, which is PlayStation. Yeah. And that's cool. I understand that. And Xbox understands that. And they're cool with that. This is their business strategy. Now, for me, in the articles, this is something that we talked about yesterday, and PlayStation has been more aggressive on this front, and they're talking about being even more aggressive, is how quickly they're releasing their titles on PC. So in the same fashion of you being willing to wait, you know, on Xbox games to hit PlayStation, I'm willing to wait on PlayStation first-party titles to hit PC. It's the same thing. Now, the one console player where their games are not hitting any other platform still is Nintendo. Right? So they are the final one left. And I don't see them buckling anytime soon. To be honest. I don't see Nintendo buckling anytime soon. They put themselves in this real niche little bubble, dude, where they can't really be touched. They haven't been touched for a long time. They've got this thing about them. They set themselves up in this weird position in the market. And I think they continue to do what they've done. I don't think they release their parties on other platforms. It's too lucrative for them. Whereas Xbox and PlayStation have kind of, you know, been more of a competitor on the same front, same kinds of titles, things like that. Even though the first party thing has been a battle between them, you know, Nintendo's something different. Give me one moment, please. Must be a dream to see Breath of the Wild on Steam or PlayStation, Xbox even, but it would actually do well. Well, yeah, I mean, we've had this discussion quite often as well, right? So, I mean, there's always and this is where, I mean, literally, Phil Spencer was talking about it yesterday, you know? The pivot and direction that Xbox is taking now with their strategy for what gaming is for them is they see it being more profitable and long game lucrative for them to get their games on as many platforms as possible, right? And we've had this discussion about Nintendo as well. Wouldn't Nintendo see it the same way? Wouldn't PlayStation see it the same way? And you're kind of, you know, they obviously have these huge marketing divisions and sales divisions and stuff where they're crunching numbers and everything and finding out what would be the trade-off. What would be the trade-off? Are you going to make more money on proprietary software being on other platforms, you know, or are you going to make more money on proprietary software being locked into your system and people buying your hardware, right? So it's one of those things where obviously Xbox has been at the bottom of that barrel, if you will, underneath PlayStation and Nintendo for hardware sales and software sales for a long time. It's an easier pivot for them. I've talked about this. PlayStation and Nintendo, it's harder for them to maybe entertain the notion of putting their proprietary stuff on other platforms, right? Because they still do well on that front. So look, there's also a reason, we've talked about this many times as well, there's also a reason why many people emulate Nintendo hardware and software on PC. Nintendo's hardware is traditionally not very powerful. And while Nintendo does develop pretty decent software, it plays much better on better hardware, you know? So it's one of those things where you see people emulating Nintendo software on PC all the time. Breath of the Wild was a huge one. I'll even attest to the fact that playing Breath of the Wild felt clunky to me at times. You know, that game is locked at 30 frames per second on the Switch. Don't get me wrong, it's a phenomenal feat. The game's a great piece of iconic, forever iconic piece of gaming software, but it will never play as good on its original hardware, the Switch, than it ever would on, you know, like a PC hardware. There's just no way. Better frame rates, better resolution, smoother gameplay. I mean, it's just not there, you know? So, there's always those discussions to be had. Yeah, you know? What is this? PS6 is real? Oh, we've already talked about this too, dude. Yeah. Yeah, we already know that PS5's in its last half of its life cycle now, but virtually, more than likely, right? And we've also talked about the fact that PlayStation doesn't have any big releases really slated for like the next year, in large part, proprietary wise. Yeah. Yeah, most big software companies and tech companies don't care about the job loss stuff, dude. What's this? Yep. Yep. Yeah, I mean, look, this is this is humans, you know, we're kind of too smart for our own goods, dude. Read the tweet. What's this? Bro, what the balls? Yo. Check this, though. What the? Hold on, dude. Well, bro. Look at all this over here. Look at these. Look at this. Look at how small these cars are right here, and how big these cars are. And watch the difference in the sizes of them and stuff as this moves forward. Watch this. Oh, wait. Bro, what the crap? It's like a micro machine versus like a flipping regular sized car or something, dude. Look at how little it is. Look at dog, what the crap? Bro, this is the thing about AI right now still. It's you know, you it's kind of like the Matrix, you know. You got to pull out the things that you can find that are abnormal, you know, that would not be reality. Bro, this is it. Look at that. What the crap, dude? What's happening? Dude, and where those cars even drive? Oh, there is a little piece of road there or something. Okay. Yeah. It almost blends in with the water. How weird, dude. And look how big they are compared to the cars. And the cars just left, dude. What the crap? Dude, the cars just go away too. Watch these people walking. Look how big they are. Look at these cars, and the cars just bounce, dude. They're not there anymore. They're gone, dude. They're gone. Yo, that's wild. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's totally just generated content from AI, which is impressive, but, you know, yeah, road stretched, yeah. More examples. Yeah, I'm not gonna continue to dive into these. This is not necessarily video gaming news, man. So I don't want to get too deep into this rabbit hole here. It is tech, you know. And obviously, a lot of AI is being implemented into video games and stuff too, which is something I'll talk about for a moment. But, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you know, the AI stuff is definitely that's why there's so much hubbub right now about the entertainment industries using it ethically, which I agree with. There needs to be some kind of ethics and, you know, the way that it's being implemented. And my sentiments about it is that you need to have artists manning on projects, creating unique assets for the project in the first place that AI can work off of. That literally means that you're still having to hire human beings to work on these jobs. You're still, you know, you're eliminating the possibility of AI going out and grabbing plagiarized, unlicensed content. And, you know, you're still able to use AI in a way that can help efficiently create your universes in, you know, and build bigger, more expansive, more immersive universes. I think that that's the way it needs to be done. I'll stick by it. Most of these companies are not going to do it that way, though. You got to be prepared for that. Most of these companies are going to do it in a very nasty, scummy, unethical way. You just got to be ready for it. Skull and Bones. Did it release, dude? I would recommend it. Look, I mean, and again, just because I enjoyed it and a lot of other people enjoyed it doesn't mean everybody's going to love it. That's just a fact. As human beings, we're different, and that's okay. But, bro, I loved that game. That was like one of my highlighted best games of the year last year. It was phenomenal. Phenomenal. It was way up there. Yeah. Yeah. So far, it seems the ocean in Skull of Bones is a mile wide and an inch deep, devoid of any real personality. Nice. Hold on. Is this only on it's on Epic, right? It's not on Steam, correct? Yeah, I don't think it was on. Yeah. It's only going to be on Ubi. It's going to be on Epic, right? Pretty sure. It'd be really nice for Epic to get a rating system, a review system going like Steam has. They need that. If they want to be the same kind of platform, they need a review system, a rating system like Steam has, and they need profile flexing. They need profile customization like Steam has as well. They really need to get on the ball with that stuff. What do you mean there's no way this is the game, dude? Why? I mean, I know what Pentiment is, dude. Why? Why are you saying that? Doesn't look like something you would play on a console. You're putting gaming software in a box. You can't do that. You can't do that. We're beyond that, dude. In today's day and age of video gaming, you can't go, oh, well, that's a game that looks like it should only be on PC. Or that's a game that should only be on mobile. Or that's a game that should only be on console. You can't do that. You know that. Today's gaming is all about multi-platform. Every game can be on any platform, no matter what genre, anything like that. Right? I understand that this might not appeal to you and what kind of games you like to play because of what the genre is and everything. This is a story-rich, choices matter kind of game, right? And that it's not necessarily something that appeals to you, yeah? But there are people that love this kind of game. Right, exactly. And so, I mean, if you look at the reviews for this, it's of almost 5,000 reviews, 95% positive. People that like this genre of game have found this game to be very, very good. So I think that's what you have to take away. Again, you're talking about a game out of Obsidian, who is a AAA developer under Xbox, and this is a $20 game. It's not expensive. This is a AAA developer releasing a $20 game. So a pretty amazing experience in a genre for people that like story-rich, choices matter kinds of games at a very approachable price tag, which is great, right? Now, I know for you, Soup, I understand what you're saying, okay? I see where you're coming from. And the kind of person that you are with your games, you want big, glamorous, AAA games. That is what you like to see. I get it. I'll tell you something, though. There's something to be said for needing the other side of gaming too, right? So a lot of what we get from the other side of gaming, it comes from independent developers and things, right? Now, like, this is something that you would expect to see more out of like an independent developer rather than a AAA developer and stuff. But, you know, a lot of the more unique, inventive, non-AAA graphic style types of games we get are from independent developers that are actually like the foundation of what is really holding up the gaming industry nowadays, dude. You know? So, not everything needs to be the AAA style. I understand that's what appeals to you, and I respect that, dude. Now, with these 4 games that are coming to PlayStation, this is just the beginning, okay? So, if for anybody that is approaching this, Xbox is releasing games on PlayStation and going, well, this is crap because these games don't appeal to me or whatever, this is just the beginning. This is them testing the waters, if you will, dipping their toes in a little bit, seeing how this feels with some notable titles, and seeing how well this plays for them. After this initial round of implementations of releasing these 4 games on Nintendo and PlayStation, they're going to address what other games they want to release on these other platforms as well. So there's more to come. You just need to be patient. This is a new kind of venture for Xbox and the console market as a whole, right? So I'd say just don't look at this as a loss. You know what I mean? This is an evolutionary kind of thing. It's going to take time, and you'll get more. You'll get more of the AAA styled games and stuff to come. It's just going to take a little bit of time, you know? And look, to be fair, Pentiment, Obsidian makes banger games, dude. They do. They're very, very good developer. This is a $20 game for people that love this kind of genre. Hi-Fi Rush is a, you know, on release $30 game from another AAA studio in Tango that makes awesome games as well. They've made fantastic games. The Evil Within games, they made Ghostwire Tokyo and then Hi-Fi Rush. So there's some really, really good titles coming in at a pretty respectable price point for people that like these genre of games. Sea of Thieves will be a good one for people to be able to get in there and play too, that want to get the pirate theme. You know what I mean? A lot of people like Sea of Thieves. And Grounded's phenomenal. That's another one by Obsidian that is a great experience, dude. Multiplayer, base building, resource gathering. It's a lot of fun, dude. It's a really, really fun game. So I think this is a great lineup for Xbox to actually be testing on other platforms. But you couldn't expect them to just take like a ton of big AAA titles right away and just throw them all onto the other platforms. They have to kind of see how this is going to play out first. You know what I mean? But I think you'll be surprised with what you get coming up before too long. This is just the initial rollout, man. We'll have to keep track of Skull and Bones. We'll have to keep track of Skull and Bones. An unfortunate return to Silent Hill. Yo, you know how bad this is going to be for Konami if they don't do this right? If they don't get... Look, I'll tell you this. They're like... what was the Silent Hill thing they came out with during Halloween? That was terrible. Did you guys watch that? The, like, interactive viewing experience or whatever? What was that called? That was terrible. It was so bad. I tried to watch it. Ascension. Yeah, did you watch that, Soup? God, it was bad. I thought it was terrible. I tried to watch it and I was like, this is not good. Yeah, I was not a fan. Yeah, it was so bad, dude. Won a game. Yeah, not a movie. Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to see what it was going to be like, you know, and I watched a little bit of it and was like, oh, this is terrible, man. What the crap? And immediately deleted the app. That's what Kojimbo doesn't understand. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about too. If I want a movie, I'll just watch. Yeah, watch Netflix. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's my sentiment too, dude. I don't want that in my video games, and I agree. I don't think that good old Kojimbo, grasps that. I don't think a lot of developers grasp that about some. A lot of us gamers, I think, feel that way. It's weird. I want Silent Hill to be good, but dude, I'm a bit worried about it. Hellblade 2 is it looks like mostly a visual experience to me. It doesn't look like, I mean, this, if you want to check this out, you can check this out. I kind of break it down in this. Wait, what? Oh, that's weird. Yeah, so I think it's going to be mostly like what I'm calling this type of game, like Hellblade 2 is like a interactive cinematic experience. That's what I'm starting to deem these games. It's a visual experience where you might be able to interact with what's happening in that piece of software from time to time. But mostly it seems like a movie to me. I don't see a whole lot of what a true video game means to me in this kind of title like Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. Dude, and we already know that like I talk about in that article right there, my YouTube video that I just linked, it's only going to be like 8 hours long too, which is pretty bleak. Pretty short, man. So, and I think there's obviously something to be said for how it looks better than that. I agree. I think there's something to be said for we've always had those kinds of games in the industry, like the Telltale games, or games like The Quarry, or where you obviously know what you're getting into there, right? It's a choices matter game. That's basically what you're doing. You're watching. It's like a visual novel. You're watching a cinematic experience. You're making choices and stuff, but that's the gist of it. There are games that are being developed, like Senua's Saga, that are being promoted as a true video game. And that's not what I think you're getting. And I don't think that that's right of them to be promoting it as a true video game instead of just what it truly is, which is mostly a cinematic experience. You know, years of development for 8 hours. I know, dude, crazy, right? Wild, dude. Wild. I don't know. I don't know how you justify that. But it's art. You know, I guess. Alan Wake 2. God, what a complete letdown that game was. Jesus. Game Pass has 34 million fully paid subscribers. If you think Xbox is going away, what's the lowest paid subscription on Game Pass? Like $10 or something? Multiply that. 34 million fully paid subscribers. Times that by $10. That's not even taking into account the subscribers that are doing like Ultimate Game Pass and stuff, right? That'll give you a lower side number of what they're actually making off of this subscription service. It's been very good for them. And if you actually think Xbox is dying, this is why they are not. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, can render video games too. Weird, dude. It's just a bunch of news out of the Microsoft stuff. Look, I actually think that Starfield will be one of the next games to go. I think if this pans out pretty well, these initial games being rolled out on Nintendo and PlayStation does fairly well for Microsoft. I think Starfield probably won't be too far behind for PlayStation. It obviously won't run on the Switch. So, but it will it'll run well on PlayStation, so. Future of Xbox, all the news. We go with The Verge here as well. We'll just break down the entire showcase from yesterday. Yeah. Phil wants Sony and Nintendo games on Xbox, but doesn't expect it, and he shouldn't. That's not going to happen anytime soon. I literally can't even picture Nintendo ever doing it. As hard as it is to even picture PlayStation, I could never picture Nintendo doing it. The thing Nintendo has is the branding too. Nintendo has the branding, you know? What really makes them also stand out above what's PlayStation? Does PlayStation have like their icon that the platform was built on? No, not really. You know, they've got notable characters and stuff that have been on the platform, but Does Sony have Mario? Does PlayStation have a Mario or Mario's World? No. Same thing for Xbox. It's one of the biggest things that sets Nintendo apart, right? Does Xbox have something like Mario or Mario's universe and the Mario characters and stuff? No. Not even close. So what? They've got like Halo. You know, which is not even close to something like that. That's one of the things that sets Nintendo apart so significantly when it comes to the proprietary software stuff. You know, and why people will buy into Nintendo forever, virtually, for the proprietary software and the hardware to play those games is because of that world and that universe, right? And they've built off of the Mario universe forever and ever and ever. They've got so many spin-offs and different characters and things like that it's very family friendly and kids love it, and they've set themselves up in a very good spot, man. GTA 6 coming out in 2036. Activision sued for $680 million by Call of Duty esports organization. What? It's a lot of money. No! The violence, though. Yeah. We saw this announced. Just in case this isn't hit on any of these articles right here from the Microsoft stuff, you know, they're bringing Diablo 4 to Game Pass, you know, so cool. Next console is a new fridge to play no games on. Yeah, didn't that already happen? Is the PS5 slowing down? Yep. They've got Rebirth coming out, and then apparently they're not going to have a whole lot coming for the next year, first party wise. So that's probably a lot of what they're talking about there. Well, and not that, you know, Rebirth's not even really first party. It's it is proprietary. It's only being released on PlayStation initially, so I guess it is first party. But 25 is when it feels like there's nothing. Thanks, Rockstar. But Square is not a first party studio. I guess that's what I was trying to get at for PlayStation. It will be a first party game though. Or proprietary PlayStation game. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I was telling everybody to do too. Or telling everybody what I was doing. It was, you know, made sense to let them have time to work on this, add new content, polish things up, and play other things while they do that. Obviously, right? Yeah, Embracer has canceled 29 games and laid off 1,400 people in just the last 6 months. Oh, you're funny, dude. Why you have so much hate for Pal World? With the Morbius sweep, yeah, dude. Why do you hate indie games so much? Why do you hate the indie industry so much, dude? I mean, to be fair, like, Embracer is disgusting. They are terrible, terrible. And I don't want to make them look good by any means, but at the same time, you know, just last month alone, Microsoft laid off 1,900 in one fell swoop. So you can't talk about Embracer doing this kind of thing without talking about Epic laying off almost, 900 right at the end of last year. They've canceled numerous games and sold off companies. They've, Microsoft just laid off 2,000. I mean, there have been a lot of these big major corporations. Riot just laid off a bunch. Embracer's not the only one. Good game, but survival games, not my kind. I respect that. Yeah, I love survival games, dude. We're about to play another one. Probably. We jamming, dude. God, I wish it wasn't EA making this college football game. Jesus. Yeah. Embracer's canceled nearly 30 games in just 6 months. Let's take a quick look at this from Kotaku and see if they list the games. Yeah, Epic's giving away 3 free games in February. Check it out, dude. Funny enough, Fallout. Fallout games. We just finished Fallout New Vegas yesterday. And appropriately, woo, starting in about 6 days, you'll be able to get Fallout 1, Fallout Tactics, and Fallout 2. Right now, you can get Dakar Desert Rally for free, though. So get your free games. Cult of the Lamb coming to comics. Nice. That could be fun. This is what's funny about people jumping on this. Xbox claims its next console will be the largest technical leap you will have ever seen. Of course. Do you know why? Because as time moves forward, technology is always getting better and better and evolving at a greater pace. Therefore, it makes sense that every new generation of console we get from any manufacturer is their largest technical leap we have seen from that developer. Come on, man. It'll be a cooler box this time. I mean, at least with the Xbox, though, if it's a refrigerator, you can keep things cold. All you can do with the PS5 is just hold down paper. It's just a paperweight. A Game says the next mainline Metro game will launch when it's ready. Tekken 8 sales have passed 2 million. Nice. You still been playing any Tekken 8, Soup? Oh, no. Okay, so Disco Elysium developer ZAUM has canceled their new game and will lay off staff. Oh, man. Okay, so there's two things to take away here. The original creative minds behind Disco Elysium are no longer even part of this company. They filed a lawsuit against ZAUM and we're trying to get the rights of Disco Elysium back. There was a real weird situation about ZAUM trying to turn the Disco Elysium universe into something that was never supposed to be, a lot of monetization, things of that nature. And the original creative minds, there's like 4 or 5 people behind Disco Elysium, either got fired or left the company. I can't remember. And they've been fighting a legal battle against ZAUM since. Now, the one positive that could come from this is that if ZAUM was to go under, they might be able to get the rights back. Those original people, which means that maybe Disco Elysium 2 could happen. I don't know. Let's pull this up and see what's happening here. Helldivers 2 will never add PvP, developer says. Because of potential toxicity, you know what that means? They don't want to deal with people's crap. They're not willing to dive into that side of things. They're not willing to undertake what it would require to implement and appropriately sustain and address what comes along quite often with PvP in a game like this. You gotta at least respect the fact that they're being open about it. Sony planning a new Astrobot game for this year, it's claimed. We'll see what happens with that. No Man's Sky launches massive Omega update with free trial. Let's see what's going on there. These will be our articles for the day. You guys ready? Bought it for the graphics. Does it like put graphics on the paper when you like put it on top of them? Are you talking about the PS5? What were you talking about? Puts like a little stamp on them. What are you talking about? Noob. Puts like a cool little like 3D stamp on the papers, and you can put like your cool 3D glasses on, and it makes it look 3D. You're like, God dang, this PS5's badass. That's apple tracing, dude. Apple tracing. All right, dude. Here we go. Yo, you've seen this article, haven't you? Didn't I give you this article yesterday about the Apple console stuff? Did you see this? I mean, yo, what up, True? This is for you, Soup. If I didn't show you this yesterday, that's for you, buddy. How's it going, True? What's up, friendo? Embracer canceled nearly 30 unannounced games in just 6 months. Yeah, you watched it. Okay. Company has acquired the teams behind Borderlands, Deus Ex, and more. Yeah. Yeah. Look, the The Deus Ex acquisition was something. Now this is how bad Embracer's been doing. Yeah. 3K console, what do you mean it's an AR device? Oh, no, it was just talking about, it was talking about an old console is what it was talking about. But then we started talking about how it was going to be like 3K for just the AR device or the VR or whatever. And, you know, we're just memeing out about it. Because anything that comes up Apple, you know, we have to slam Apple for what they do. Apple's products are overpriced, dude. They're overpriced, and they lock people into this. You know, they've done it forever. These gross mechanics of Apple devices only work with Apple devices, or like with the new iPhone, only the Pro version has fast charging, which is why I was memeing on, you know, only the Pro version of the controllers. If they made a new console, only the Pro version of the controllers would have fast charging. Because that's something Apple would do. It's funny because it's true. That's what Apple would do. You know? They're terrible, man. Happy that it's Friday. Me too, Brendo. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, let's just get in here, dude. So like I was saying, with Deus Ex, this acquisition was... What was it? Earlier 2022, I think. They acquired, Embracer acquired all the North American development studios from Square Enix, like Eidos Montreal, all you know, all those guys, and it was like 4 studios, I think. I think they might have all been Canadian studios, and along with that, they got the IPs of Deus Ex, Tomb Raider. What else did they get? A couple of other ones. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Anyways, dude, they turned around like 6 months later, and they sold just the Tomb Raider IP licensing to Amazon for $600 million. So it was a good business move. They made double off, you know, they did really well there. And true. Got to be able to hit that G button, right? That's right. And even with that, you know, they've just been dying off. They've just been shuttering numerous studios underneath them, firing tons of people. They've been shutting down all kinds of game development. It's a terrible look, man. Embracer Group, the proverbial Grim Reaper of video game acquisitions, has been wreaking havoc on the studios and IPs it has acquired in the past few years, from layoffs across several companies to shutting down beloved studios like Saints Row developer Volition. Yep, and cancellations of big exciting projects like a new Deus Ex game. Embracer has been buying up and shutting down companies with practically nothing to show for it. In its latest fiscal report, Embracer Group CEO Lars Wingfors said the company has more plans in the works to sell off some of its investments, which would line up with reports that Borderlands developer Gearbox Software may be up for sale. They've been shopping Gearbox for roughly 3 to 4 months now. But he also says that further restructuring may happen in the meantime, meaning more layoffs within the company and its subsidiaries are likely coming. This follows the company laying off over 8% of its workforce in the past year, which is around 1,387 jobs, and canceling 29 games across its company. Why? Well, Wingfors says Embracer's overruling principle is to always maximize shareholder value in any given situation, which means that takes precedence over taking care of the employees. Right? This is a thing we all know, but it's not often you get a suit willing to say the quiet part out loud and on the record. Yep. This is, dude, I call out these studios all the time for this crap right here because they also don't want to explicitly say it. But we know this is what's happening, right? Bad business decisions leading to these companies firing people that had nothing to do with those bad business decisions because these companies want to maximize shareholder value amidst these terrible situations they've found themselves in. And instead of the people that put the business in these terrible positions, taking less pay, God forbid they not make millions of dollars a year or high six-figure dollar salaries a year, you know, or not take bonuses or you name it, you know, they just fire low-level workers. But it all comes down to this because they need to maximize shareholder value. So lift up the rich, crush the poor, right? This is Embracer's legacy, and people on social media are already blasting Wing First comment, given the current industry climate. And Embracer's not the only company that's been acquiring studios and laying off scores of employees soon after. Microsoft recently cut 2,000 people's jobs after it's finalized its acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Perhaps we can lay to rest any notion that acquisitions on this scale are a good thing for games, and we should stop hyping them up with celebratory trailers. This is what I will say. My hope here is that some of these will be rehired. The Microsoft stuff is obviously an amount of... We know that Activision Blizzard had been mismanaged for a very, very long time. Right? One of the reasons I wanted Microsoft to buy and to be able to fully acquire Activision Blizzard was because I was hopeful that Microsoft would be able to go in there and right the ship, as it were. At least to some extent. Make Activision Blizzard something respectable again. I won't even play their games anymore. Blizzard, at least. You know, I haven't been able to play their games for a long time. I've been so disgusted with that company. And, you know, for me, I expected a little bit of Microsoft going in. And not all of these 2,000 jobs were under Activision Blizzard either. Some of them were Xbox jobs where they're trying to, they've been eliminating jobs for physical, you know, jobs related to the physical production of games. They're ramping down their physical production of games and moving more in a digital direction. And so that happened. But there was a lot of this also attributed to the Activision Blizzard company. And so I'm hopeful that what they're doing is putting Activision Blizzard under a microscope. We already know that they're doing a reorganization of that company. They're restructuring under Microsoft and Xbox with Activision Blizzard. Bobby Kotick is gone, thank God. Mike Ibarra is gone, thank God. You know, so you had to know that Microsoft was going to come in here and take a look at what they needed to do to turn their new acquisition into something that more aligned with what they need it to be. And there was potentially going to be some trimming of fat, right? So what my hope is that after they sort this out, get the reorg gone through, their restructuring and everything, they'll find some ways to rehire and fill some of these gaps that are left by what was done initially here with the layoffs. We'll see what happens. That's my hope anyways, you know, but you can't expect a company to go in and acquire a company like Activision Blizzard that we know had been mismanaged for so long and expect them to just let it lie in the filth that they've been for so long. You have to expect some change. You have to. So, you know, yeah, it's appropriate we talk about the layoffs, but let's not leave out all the epic layoffs and the riot layoffs and the list goes on and on and on and on and on, right? So it's not just Embracer, it's not just Microsoft. This industry is getting slaughtered. The workforce is getting obliterated. Roughly 10,000 layoffs last year, We have already over half of that amount in a month and a half of 2024 alone. And again, where there's never clarity about it, there's never any kind of real talk from these companies about what led to these situations. A little bit can be attributed to pandemic hire bloat, for sure. A little bit. Most of this comes down to bad business decisions, and the low people in the totem pole pay the price, unfortunately. Sucks. What are you talking about, Soup? You're a game designer now? AAA studio, yeah. Mm-hmm. You should call your studio Drowning in Soup. That'd be awesome. Well, we'll come up with some other names too. I like that one. I like Drowning in Soup. No soup for you. What up, Ferret? I just stepped away for a second. What did you miss? Nothing. I was ranting about job loss in the industry. And then I was talking about Soup's AAA company started. And I was saying that it should be called Drowning in Soup. 4A Game says the next mainline Metro game will launch when it's ready. When it's ready! Yeah, I mean, can I just state real quick that what a novel notion it is that games would release whenever they're finished and ready? Interesting. Interesting.
No. He tried it.
He tried it, dude. I mean, but come on, dude, for reals. It's not like, I mean, no game should launch unless it is ready. So, I mean, what a quote, right? To be fair, I mean, I guess that it's not like we haven't had games that launched when they weren't ready either. Yeah, I mean, we've had that happen too many times, so I guess it can happen. The next mainline game in the Metro series will launch when it's ready. That's what developer 4A Games said in a post on Twitter on Thursday. Celebrating the launch of Metro Exodus, which released 5 years ago today, 4A Games announced that the game has sold over 10 million copies in its lifespan. The studio also talked about the next game being the VR title Metro Awakening that's launching later this year. Lastly, it teased the next mainline game for the franchise. It didn't say much, but it did get fans talking online about when it could possibly be coming. The timeline image it shared showed that the next game could very well launch this decade, as this year starts with as the year starts with 202 before the final number is blurred out. Oh, yeah. In a reply to a fan asking about a year, the account says it's coming definitely in the future rather than definitely in the past. Yeah. Metro Awakening, the next game in the series, is a spin-off game being developed by Vertigo Games. It's slated to launch later this year for Steam VR, MetaQuest, and PlayStation VR 2. There's some stupid quotes in here, dude. Like, God dang, bro. Yo, by the way, though, I just saw like all the Metro games. I thought there's some stupid quotes in there. What the crap, dude? Where did I see those at? Meadow. Where did I see that?
Catch me on the flip side, whip you like a riptide. Yeah, I like my hips wide. Yeah, everywhere I look, I see ballers popping collars, hustling for dollars. Never see me losing, never catch me snoozing. In my Lambo cruising.
Hold on. This was a really good deal. It might have been on like Fanatical or Green Man Gaming. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this. Bump, 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 bump. I think I found it. Hold on. Let me see. I need to play these flipping games too. Yeah, okay, hold on. Let me see this. So brother, give me that tab. So there's this. There's the Metro Redux bundle, which is $2.99, dude, on Fanatical. And it is this has Metro 2033 Redux and Metro Last Light Redux for Steam at $3, dude. $3. So the Redux bundle right here. I thought there was like a trip game bundle as well, though. Let's go look at Metro again. But I don't know. I guess if you're interested, there is the really big sales on the Metro games right now on Fanatical, so you can go check that out. Yeah. So if you're interested, since we just covered that, it made sense to go. I knew I had seen something like that recently. Disco Elysium developer cancels new game and will lay off staff, it's claimed. Again, preface this with the fact that the developer behind Disco Elysium, there's a weird situation where the original creative minds behind Disco Elysium don't actually work for this developer anymore. I don't remember if I think they got fired, or maybe some fired, some quit, whatever. They were not happy with the way that the developer was trying to, the direction they were trying to take Disco Elysium in. A lot of monetization, stuff like that. And they bounced. They were like, no. This is not, we're not going to be a part of this. You know, this is not what this game was ever supposed to be about. And so then they got into a legal battle with the developer over wanting the rights to Disco Elysium. And we hadn't really heard much of it since. But apparently, I think it was EAUM or something like that as a developer, they're canceling their new game and will lay off staff, it's claimed. So let's take a look at what this means. ZAUM, the developer behind Disco Elysium, has canceled its new game and set to lay off a number of employees. According to a report from GLHF at Sports Illustrated, about 24 employees could be let go from the company. That amounts to nearly 25% of the company's workforce. Job cuts, the report states, go hand in hand with cancellation of Project X7, standalone expansion for Disco Elysium that had been in development. ZAUM President Ed Kamazuski told staff that X7 was 1 to 2 years away from completion. In an alleged message to the company from ZAUM CEO Ilmar Kompas that was obtained by GLHF, the CEO says, despite concerted efforts over the past 8 months by our management team and the X7 disciplines, following consultation with our management team, I've taken the difficult decision to cancel X7. This decision, unlike the pause on Project P1, will unfortunately most likely lead to redundancies within our studio. With the cancellation of X7, we are proposing to reshape our team to support our 2 remaining games. This adjustment will almost certainly lead to redundancies, mostly affecting the X7 team, but also our non-development teams and non-X7 projects. Studio still has 2 projects in development, codenamed C4 and M0, the report states. Insider Gaming has reached out to ZAUM for comment on the report and will provide an update should a response be received. Interesting. We'll see what happens with this moving forward. I was never hopeful that what Disco Elysium would be moving forward with any additional content coming out from under ZAUM would be comparable to what Disco Elysium was initially because of the original creative minds behind it not being there anymore. But we'll see what happens with this. No Man's Sky launches massive Omega update with free trial. A new Omega update officially rolls out for No Man's Sky today, and a PlayStation blog added to the expedition comes with a free trial. Even players who don't own No Man's Sky can still check out a free trial for the brand new Omega Expedition starting today. Free trial will last through Monday, February 19th. There may be some newcomers to No Man's Sky after hearing the Light No Fire announcement at the Game Awards last year. The free trial presents a good opportunity for these players to determine if they'll finally invest. The full Omega Expedition will run for 2 weeks, including a major overhaul and various new features. There will be new on-planet missions and a new pirate dreadnought and more. Also, some quick missions that will guide you through the fundamentals, again catering to new players. A new trailer breaks down all of Omega's key features. Let's watch this real quick.
Introducing No Man's Sky Omega, version 4.5. Omega allows the whole world to play together for free.
Look at those tentacles!
Whether they own No Man's Sky or not. Skim across worlds with a unique new starship.
I think he played this game recently and was like, dude, it's so good.
The Omega Expedition challenges all players to work together across the universe. The Atlas Path has been revisited, and travelers can honor it with a new staff and armor. New planetary missions are now specific to NPCs' locale, climate, and personality. Defeat pirate freighters in combat and board them to demand control.
Pew, 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 pew.
The new expedition system allows players to bring provisions with them and return with rewards. Our journey continues.
Pew, pew. Sean Murray posted a series of mysterious tweets over the last week, each featuring the Omega symbol. Fans successfully speculated that it pointed to today's major update. Patch notes for the update also appeared earlier today. However, it may not completely rule out the possibility of further No Man's Sky updates. Earlier today, Sean Murray posted another tweet that listed out all of the previous updates. but it left enough room to imply that No Man's Sky could still get more updates later on. After all, there still should be plenty of time before the team prioritizes Light No Fire altogether. It's impressive that No Man's Sky continues to overhaul and break new ground as needed. With the Omega update, travelers will even get to join expeditions with provisions. They can bring along their favorite starships or custom multi-tools and return to their main save with loot and exciting rewards. So, could be a cool time to try out No Man's Sky right now if you're interested. Free trial period. And look, No Man's Sky should have never, ever released when it did. They hyped that game up way beyond what it offered on release content-wise. They baited a lot of people into buying that game when with promises that they could not fulfill. Unacceptable. Should never happen. Even though it does, it shouldn't. That's not something that any developer should get away with, and that will forever be a taint on, a mark on Hello Games' name, right? And so, yes, they continued to work on the game. And yes, they got it to a point where it did eventually become what was promised, and that's good. But they don't get props for that. They don't get kudos for that. They don't get awards or pats on the back. They finally made the game what it should have been on release. And they, it should have, it should have never been anything other than that on release. If that meant they needed to delay it, they should have delayed it. It's not fair to dupe people like that. So that being said, they have continued to try and make up for what happened by continuously adding even more content to the game beyond what the game was supposed to have in the first place, and massive amounts of content, big, massive updates, expanding the world, adding more stuff for people to do, and it's all free content. The only thing you ever do for No Man's Sky is buy the base game, and you get everything. You get anything that's ever been made for that game comes along with the base game. And that's a phenomenal thing. You don't see that very often anymore. So for that, I will give Hello Games a lot of credit. That's something that you see very rarely anymore in the games industry. So for that, it's an amazing thing to see. And Hello Games, often you will see No Man's Sky go on sale for $30. Usually it's a $60 game, I think, but it'll go on sale for $30 all the time. And for $30, you get everything that has ever been developed for that game. It's just part of the base game. That's great. It's great to see. And it's I think proven that they have wanted to give back and have been remorseful for what happened in the first place. And it's been a good look, and I think it's been a good strategy for them as well, business-wise, to bring people in and keep people in the game as they continue to add content to it, Random mode time, let's go. What face, bro? Let's go. Game Pass now has 34 million fully paid subscribers. Anybody want to do the math there? Anybody want to do this math? Low-end math. Go low-end math. What's the lowest? US dollars here, US dollars. What's the lowest paid tier of Game Pass? Like $10? Just say $10. $10 US times 34 million. It's a chunk of change. Maybe. Maybe. There's a lot of what ifs. You know what I mean? Oh, what if Sean Murray wasn't talking? If Sean Murray wasn't talking, would somebody else have been talking and been promoting it the same way? You know, it's who knows? Who knows? They obviously were being pushed to release that game earlier than what they should have. Also, it's I don't remember the entire situation around it, but they had some, I think, investors that were really pushing pretty hard for them to release, and Sean Murray's mouth definitely played a pretty poor role in expectations there. I'm not denying that, but had he not talked, could it have been maybe a little less of an issue with expectations for the game? Maybe. Also, maybe not. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I think with, you know, the what ifs are always there, right? We could theory craft about it. We could speculate on, if it would have been a less notable, because it's obviously one of the more iconic, terrible releases in video gaming history. Yeah. Um, I mean, that one, Cyberpunk, is right up there with it, on two different fronts, right? I mean, obviously, we're talking about a lackluster content release versus a very lackluster performance release and stuff. But, bad release equals, is a bad release no matter what. And, but there's some very notable ones out there. Hello Games with No Man's Sky will be forever renowned and iconic for what a mess it was. And, you know, Sean Murray definitely, was at the, he was the face of it. No doubt about it. Had he not been there, would somebody else have been the face of it? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't have been as bad. Quite possibly. You're talking about like a multiverse thing, you know what I mean? Like the what ifs, man. um, so this is I've talked about Game Pass a lot. In my perspective of what Xbox has done to remain competitive in the console side of the industry, this has been a very good play by them. We've seen a huge pivot from Xbox since the, mid 20 teens and into moving into a different direction that most other console players weren't doing. And we even still seeing these changes ramp up as we saw yesterday in the Xbox showcase with them announcing they are bringing some titles over to their competitors' platforms and stuff. It's all been leading to these changes are progressive. They're doing things the other console players haven't wanted to do. They've wanted to stay traditional. PlayStation and Nintendo have, and Nintendo will be the last to conform, if ever. I truly believe that. But neither one are very quick to do anything different. Xbox has had a tougher time in the market, though. They've had to find ways to be creative about the ways that they can compete in the market. So they've developed these services. Their hardware has not ever done very well for them. Their proprietary software has not ever done as well as PlayStation's and Nintendo has either. So they've developed things like their cloud gaming and streaming platform and things of that nature to bring about, a different way for them to compete with, the PlayStation and Nintendo. And so still, even after PlayStation trying to emulate the streaming service, the game streaming service of Game Pass, it still will never be anything remotely close to what Game Pass has to offer, until PlayStation decides to, if ever, release their proprietary first party games day one on that streaming service as well. That is the thing that still sets Game Pass apart, as well as their plethora of games in the library. I mean, the library is always 400 to 500 games, and which is massive, and you really just trumps about any other streaming service game-wise right now, and has for a long time. And that one implementation alone of day one releases, first-party proprietary games, really sets Game Pass apart from most other services, you know. So it's been very good for them. You can see this right here. Like I said before, 34 million. You multiply that by a low tier subscription, say $10 or whatever. That's a lot of money they're making. Yeah. And they're saying this is a fully paid subscribers. Yeah. That's a lot. This is what has remained, helped Xbox to remain a competitor in the gaming industry as a whole. So let's read this. Xbox has confirmed that there are currently 34 million players subscribed to Game Pass. The number was mentioned briefly during an announcement that Diablo 4 will be the first Activision Blizzard game coming to Game Pass, with Xbox President Sarah Bond noting that now, quote, now the 34 million Game Pass members can all enjoy the fantastic experience of Diablo 4. However, in an interview for journalist Stephen Totilo's GameFile newsletter, Xbox head Phil Spencer elaborated more on the figure, noting that it isn't simply counting players on free trials or other promotional deals. That's fully paid. Fully paid, Spencer explains. So those are not promotional players. Those are people fully paid subs. Totilo then asked Spencer if the numbers were being cooked somewhat by last year's rebranding of Xbox Live Gold to Xbox Game Pass Core, essentially turning all Xbox Gold subscribers into Game Pass subscribers. Spencer replied that the number of players who had Xbox Live Gold but not Game Pass and could now be added to the count was a pretty small number, and that the growth in subscriber numbers can be attributed more to players on PC and the cloud. When there's a fixed number of console players on the planet, you're not going to grow Game Pass forever by shipping just on consoles, he explained. So we're seeing really significant growth on PC, which is great, and cloud. As we talked about yesterday, the PC market in the gaming industry as a whole, it brings in roughly 15 billion more a year. 45 billion in 2022. It brought in over. The entire console market was at 30 billion. The PC gaming industry is really starting to, whereas if you looked at like the early 2000s, 2000 to 2005, it was pretty equal. The console market and the PC gaming market were fairly equal. And before that, console was even above PC, right? And then all of a sudden, PC really started taking off and gaining more of a share and taking on more of the market than console was even doing. And especially over the past decade, 10 to 15 years, PC has really started taking a chunk out of consoles part of gaming. And obviously, mobile is obliterating both at what was a roughly 101 billion in revenue in 2022. PC was at 45 billion and console was at 30 billion. So mobile is still absolutely destroying, but PC has definitely hopped up in quite a bit above console, right? So obviously Microsoft has an advantage here with Xbox, and the fact that Microsoft also has a huge consumer base on PC with Windows operating systems, and it makes it very easy for people with Game Pass to either have Game Pass on console or PC or both if you're a consumer of, their console hardware and you play games on PC as well. So, for them, that plays very, very well, and it's very seamless and intuitive for them, being somebody that, a company that is on both sides of PC gaming and console gaming, right? Sony has stopped revealing the number of PlayStation Plus subscribers it has, with Push Square noting last year the decision seemingly coincided with a price hike for the service in September. Yeah, which was pretty gross. The price hike per tier was between 20 to 30% of their new service not even being out for like roughly a year yet, which was absurd. The company's previous financial report for quarter 2 for its current fiscal year only provided a figure from the previous fiscal year, which was around 50 million. In its recent financial report for quarter 3, it again failed to provide numbers, but noted that there had been a slight year-on-year decrease in the number of PlayStation Plus subscribers. Yep. Interesting. I think one of the things we have to pay attention to here as well is we knew that the Activision Blizzard acquisition was going to lead to, I mean, the portfolio that they pulled off of this acquisition was massive. And so we're starting to finally see games rolling out on Game Pass from those companies. And what more will we get? And how much will this help the subscription service? Yeah, it's got to be some kind of increased pool. Depending on what games they put on the service and who they're trying to bring in to the subscription, because they want people on the subscription, so this is their golden goose. They want people in here. They want people to subscribe annually. This is how they're making a lot of their gaming money. And you've always got to take into consideration that there's this whole debacle going on with them having to work with Ubisoft now with the licensing of their own games to be put on subscription services and stuff. Which is weird. That was all part of the UK's blocking the acquisition until they figured that out. That was weird. All right. Next, Bandai Namco reveals it recently canceled 5 games, saying it plans stricter quality control. Publisher reported a 96% drop in year-on-year profits in its games division. 96% drop? Jesus Christ. What? Armored Core. That's the biggest thing I see is Armored Core. Blue Protocol's not even out yet. So I can see where maybe 2023 was a bit lackluster for him. Obviously, Armored Core did fairly well. But it didn't do like what a like normal From Software game would do either. I don't think like a Soulsborne game would or anything. But it did decent. Obviously they've got Tekken 8 out. They've got. We'll see what happens. That's interesting. What was 2020? Well, 2022 had flipping Elden Ring. Right? Oh, so, I mean, you have to understand what Elden Ring had to do for them in 2022 for boosting their numbers. It was going to be hard to match that. It was going to be hard to match that. They were gonna. I mean, Elden Ring was stupid big, And trying to match those numbers. By the way, King, best Tekken fighter ever. Everybody can be like, you're out of your mind. It's going to be hard to match the same numbers a year after dropping something like Elden Ring, dude. So I guess, you know, going back and taking a look at that, it doesn't make it makes a little bit more sense now, you know. So Bandai has confirmed that it recently canceled at least 5 games in development and said it plans to have stricter quality control going forward. For its third fiscal quarter ended in December, the publisher said that its digital division, excuse me, apologies, saw an 8.9% drop in net sales compared to the same period last year and a 96.5% drop in income. In a statement about the figures, the publisher noted that while Dragon Ball and One Piece games remain stable in Japan and overseas, and while Armored Core 6 was popular, one of the main reasons for the large drop in profit was that Elden Ring sold a lot of copies during the last fiscal year. Dude, did I not just call it after going back and looking at all that stuff? Literally what I just pulled out of all those game releases, right? That hasn't been replicated by another title this year. Exactly what I just figured out, dude. Man, I'm smart, dude. Woo! Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really hard to match something like Elden Ring numbers. It also noted that a review of its development process led to a loss on disposal, suggesting some projects had been canceled. In the digital business, in addition to valuation losses related to new online game titles and other titles introduced this fiscal year, we recorded a loss on disposal due to a review of title organization with a view to the next midterm plan. In the future, we will build an optimal and well-balanced title portfolio, examine our development system carefully, and strengthen development with an emphasis on quality. In a Q&A following the financial results briefing, a Bandai Namco representative shed more light on this, confirming that games had been canceled. Disposal of work in progress was decided in accordance with internal rules regarding evaluation, and the online games and other products subject to this disposal were also implemented in accordance with these rules. We have also decided to discontinue the development of at least 5 other titles under development and have recorded a loss on disposal. In addition, since the second half of the previous fiscal year, we have changed our development structure, setting stricter standards for proceeding with development, narrowing down titles, and changing the method of recording development expenses. The associated technical research expenses for this were higher than expected at the beginning of the year. Due to the longer development period for games, the time from investment to payback is also lengthening. In addition to narrowing down titles, we are considering the best way to optimize our titles by classification, such as strategic worldwide titles and casual titles for light users. Despite the large drop in profits, the studio did at least note that Tekken 8 has proved to be a success, selling more than 2 million copies since its release. It's doing very well. Tekken 8, which is already on sale, is also ahead of expenses for this fiscal year, but it has been well received by fans and is expected to contribute to repeat sales in the next fiscal year, it said. As for the lineup of titles under development, we are preparing large-scale downloadable content for Elden Ring and a new Dragon Ball game, so please look forward to these titles. Yeah, we knew this was coming as well. Interesting. I wonder if we'll find out what the 5 games were that got canceled, though, you know. It'd be interesting to find out what those games were. So yeah, whatever. I got the yawns this morning, boy. Oh, I'm so sorry. The last 4 articles we have here are really going to be covering a lot of what we watched together yesterday at the end of the stream for the Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, Xbox Business showcase. Yeah, so we'll just jump in here. We'll cover this. There wasn't a ton to take away, to be honest. A lot that I had already basically derived from what Xbox's stance is in the industry over the past number of years. If you pay attention to the industry, a lot of this has been very obvious, right? I've been able to see this coming for a while in large part. Some of the things that I wanted to see were, you know, them explicitly talk about what games were going to be coming to the other platforms, address in a more transparent fashion the layoffs, and they didn't do that. They addressed them, but not. It was pretty vague, you know. But let's dive in here, and we'll address these articles, and then we'll start Stardew Valley for the day. The future of Xbox. All the news on Microsoft's strategy shift. So, following a steady stream of rumors about exclusive games moving to rival platforms and possible new hardware, Microsoft is finally going to set the record straight on its future Xbox plans. The company is releasing a video. That was yesterday. So this isn't even. Is this? Yeah, okay. Microsoft has gradually been moving Xbox away from the idea of a single piece of hardware in recent years, with ambitions to reach billions of gamers across consoles, PC, and mobile devices. Now it's officially bringing 4 Xbox exclusive games to PS5 and Nintendo Switch amid an Xbox Everywhere effort inside Microsoft that will likely see even more games arriving on rival consoles. It's a seismic strategy shift that the company is downplaying publicly. So I sat down with Microsoft Gaming Phil Spencer. Yeah. That's probably... Yeah. This is probably what we need to be reading. Launching a few Xbox exclusives on rival consoles feels like the natural next step in Microsoft's grand plan. It's also a risky one. Could undermine the Xbox hardware sales that support Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass subscription effort and its Xbox ecosystem, forcing Microsoft to go fully multi-platform and become a software-only games company like Sega. Spencer is all too aware of the risks, sees an opportunity to make more money on rival consoles, to support Microsoft's game creation and ultimately bring games to more players. Again, look, it hasn't been hard to see why Xbox needs to move this way. They have not done well hardware-wise. And they have not done as well as the other competitors proprietary software-wise. This has been an easier play for them to go, it makes more sense for us to get as much of our software in front of as many users as possible, as many customers as possible, because that's going to be more lucrative for us than what we've been doing historically, right? Whereas the other console players, it's not as easy of a play for them because they still do very well with hardware sales and proprietary software. It's very obvious. Beyond Xbox exclusive games coming to PS5 and Switch, Spencer also teases unique next-gen Xbox hardware. And I quiz him about all the posts on X he keeps liking about an Xbox handheld. I've said this for a couple of years now. I think Xbox needs a handheld. I think it fits their portfolio better. I think it fits their profile better, their service offerings better. I think they need a handheld. We also touch on the regulatory efforts against Apple that could affect the Xbox business and what exactly Xbox is to Microsoft now. We know that Xbox and Microsoft want to open an app store as well. That was a big part of them wanting to acquire Activision Blizzard. That was going to help them get that started. That's one of the issues with Apple here. Again, it's been so easy for Microsoft to dive into the PC realm of, the gaming market because they create Windows. They've been embedded in PC forever also as, operating systems and stuff. So it's natural. It's been a very natural, easy way for them to also go from just, to mesh their gaming business model of console with PC gaming, which the other console players don't naturally have, right? And that's been very good for them to remain a competitor in gaming. And so a lot of this is going to be things we've talked about before. There wasn't a lot to take away yesterday, really. Really, what Phil was saying is They want to give people more choice in how they build their library. And they want their platform to enable those things, right? I said this before when we found out that officially Xbox was going to be putting some of their first party titles on, and we're going to talk about those titles in just a moment, some of those first party titles onto competitors' platforms, was that it, besides what I've already talked about and why this is easier for Xbox to do than the other competitors, this is about brand recognition as well. It's about getting their brand out there in front of competitors' customers also. So if you're on PlayStation, you can play Xbox. You'll still see Xbox in front of your face, right? If you're on Nintendo, you can see Xbox in front of your face. They want as many people being able to access their content as possible. And I was telling everybody before even the showcase yesterday, you had to understand this wasn't going to mean that like day one releases for Xbox proprietary games were going to be hitting the other platforms. That's not what this means. Proprietary games are still going to be exclusive to Xbox platforms for an amount of time before they ever are considered to be put on other platforms. But eventually they will. Eventually they will go to other platforms. You know, the more this rolls out, this is their strategy. This is something that they see this as being a more lucrative way to address the industry than what has traditionally been done in the console side of the market. And for them, it makes sense. It wouldn't make sense for PlayStation. It wouldn't make sense for Nintendo right now. I don't see it ever making sense for Nintendo, really. Things would have to change drastically in the market. But and again, as I've said before, time will tell how this plays out. But I see why Xbox is doing this, and it's just going to take time for this to totally get fleshed out. It's been a long time coming. It's been something they've been rolling out, step by step for quite some time. I've seen it coming for a long time. This kind of, evolution for Xbox and what they're doing here, and we'll see how well it plays for them. It makes sense to me that they're doing it, but how well it'll work, I mean, we'll see. This is a very long article. You guys can read the whole thing if you want. I'm not going to read this whole thing for the news. It's incredibly long. We watched the whole thing yesterday, so if you want to read this, by all means, go nuts. We will dive into a little bit more of this, though, which is the teasing of their ultra-powerful next-gen Xbox and maybe a handheld. The thing that's weird to me is they're like, working on unique hardware and a big next-gen technical leap. Dude, literally every next generation of console is a technical leap forward. They're not going to be taking a leap backwards. This is what technology is always evolving, right? It's always getting better. And, the reason that there's roughly a 7-year average lifespan on a console before another one comes out to take its place is because, it gives that console a good chunk of time to... The hardware is current enough through that time period to provide... It doesn't degrade enough usually. Now the Switch, dude, is really, really, pretty bad at this point. But we'll get new Nintendo hardware this year. But that's also a mobile versus traditional hardware, and that's a different thing to talk about. But lifespan normally 7 years gives a console appropriate time to have a next big generation of technology to come out to make a huge technological leap forward to, that's the way that works. And so this should not be, this is a weird thing for people to be like grabbing onto here. It would be weird for a company to say, oh yeah, our next console is going to come out and it's not going to be a big technological leap. It should be. It should be. Like this is weird for this to be big news. Yeah, because technology evolves at a very fast pace, and I would expect, you know, we're roughly moving more towards 3.5 years of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S have been out, moving towards 3.5 years. At 7 years, roughly, will be close to them, you know, being consoles of the past and having their replacements coming out. And at that time, it'd probably be what's going to be called the PS6 and whatever, at the Xbox 1080, whatever you want to call it, you know. And they'll be quite a bit more advanced with their technology, because that's what technology does. Their hardware will be more advanced, and that's the way it works. This is a weird thing. Yeah, well, to be fair, Xbox does a better job with that than most other companies do. Phil actually talked about that a little bit yesterday, but we've talked about that in a large part as well, right? I mean, Nintendo is harder because they've changed media so many times. But they're on SD card now. They shouldn't be changing off of that for the next console, and it should absolutely be backwards compatible. And there's no reason in my eyes why any of these consoles, like PlayStation and Xbox for sure, they've been on optical drives for their entire lifespan. So why they're not backwards compatible? Just it's all a scum fest. It's all greed, you know. Instead of trying to give back to the longtime consumers and fans of your platform, you know, it's all greed, and that sucks. It sucks. But he addressed that a little bit yesterday and tried to make it sound like it was something very difficult to implement. Xbox has actually been kind of better about it. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely, dude. Microsoft's teasing the potential for unique Xbox hardware in the future and powerful next-gen console. Yeah, Microsoft wants to reassure Xbox fans that it's still very much invested in the future of its platform and hardware. We came across something even before yesterday where Phil had assured their employees that they were still going to be making hardware. And there was an article we made for the YouTube channel about that. It's right there. So we know that they're still trying to be committed to the hardware side of their business, their platform. But I mean, I'll be honest here. We've got roughly 3.5 to 4 years left before we should even see another Xbox console to overtake what the Series X and S are, to replace them. Now, that doesn't mean they couldn't come out with something like a handheld in the meantime or something like that, right? But that's a lot of time for Xbox to determine what their best step is with hardware. And they are in a different position than PlayStation and Xbox are. They've got a lot of services, you know. I mean, I don't really know what to. I've thought that a handheld, really, you know, a dual role handheld like the Switch, plays very well for Xbox with their services and stuff. So I could see them doing a handheld, but I don't know what else. They've never done great with their traditional consoles. So I mean, I could see them moving away from that, but time will tell. So in an official podcast we watched yesterday together here on the channel, Sarah Bond teased that Microsoft will deliver the largest technical leap with the next generation of Xbox. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's like I said before, it's kind of a stupid thing to say. Yeah, I mean, well, of course, Of course you are. We see a lot of opportunity in different types of devices. We'll share specifics on our future hardware plans as soon as they are ready. Yeah, also appropriate. Phil said he's a big fan of handhelds, but nothing to announce. Still a lot of work on the Windows side for handheld gaming PCs. One of the weak points in the experience on a ROG or the Lenovo Legion Go is Windows, says Phil Spencer. So, I don't know. There's not a lot to take away there that we didn't already kind of know. The 4 Xbox exclusive games that are coming to PS5 and Switch have been apparently data mined. And as I said before today, I think, look, for anybody that's like going to see these games and go, oh, this is a crappy list of games, and I'm not a fan of the fact that these are the games that I'm going to be getting on my platform or whatever from Xbox. It's just the initial rollout. And if you're upset about these games, then they must just be genres that are not within your, wheelhouse, I guess, of things that are your preference. Because these are actually banger games. They really are. I've played 2 of the 4 and can confirm that the two I've played are phenomenal. And I know that many other people find the other 2 to be very, very enjoyable as well, even though I haven't played them. So let's cover this. And again, this is them testing the waters for this initial rollout of them putting games on other platforms, competitor platforms. So as the initial rollout, they're testing the waters. They're going to see how this feels, and then they're going to decide what games come next. There'll be more. It's official. Microsoft is bringing some Xbox exclusive games to PS5 and Switch. It's part of a broader strategy shift inside Microsoft's gaming business to grow games beyond just the company's consoles. Quote, we've made the decision we're going to take 4 games to the other consoles. Revealed Phil Spencer on the podcast we watched yesterday. Bizarrely, Microsoft is refusing to name the 4 titles. The company says the 2 are community-driven games and the other 2 are smaller titles. Sources familiar with the Microsoft plans tell me the first 2 titles will be Hi-Fi Rush, banger game from Tango, and Pentiment, which is a story-rich, choices matter kind of game out of Obsidian. And followed by Sea of Thieves and Grounded, also by Obsidian. I have played Hi-Fi Rush. I have played Grounded. They're both awesome games. Many people also have found Pentiment and Sea of Thieves to be very, very enjoyable games. Spencer claims there hasn't been a change to the company doing Xbox exclusives yet. At the same time, he also thinks there will be fewer console exclusives across the industry over the next decade. I do have a fundamental belief that over the next 5 to 10 years, exclusive games that are exclusive to one piece of hardware, are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the games industry, says Spencer. Microsoft is framing this as a move as just 4 games that the company can learn from, testing the waters, if you will. Yeah. Rumors have suggested that Microsoft's ambitions for multi-platform games go much deeper. Starfield was rumored for PS5 and reported earlier this month that Microsoft has been considering launching Indiana Jones on PS5 months after its Xbox launch. Spencer did confirm yesterday that Starfield and Indiana Jones are not part of the first 4 games. But like I said, I think that Starfield could quite potentially become a second round of games to be pushed out on depending on how this first round goes. Starfield could be a second round game to go. We'll see. Phil did say, I don't think we should, as an industry, ever rule out a game going to any other platform. We're focused on these 4 games currently and are learning from the experience. Not every Xbox game is suddenly going to appear on rival consoles, but Microsoft is clearly considering the potential for more in the future. Yeah. Yeah, this is being deemed Xbox everywhere. Make every decision regarding Xbox everywhere with the long-term health of Xbox in mind, meaning a growing platform, games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as they can. Yep. The rest of it's just kind of quotes from the stuff we watched yesterday, so you can read it if you want. I don't know. Again, it was kind of vague. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to take away. Much of this was things that could be derived already from what they had been doing in the industry already. We knew this is where they were headed. I don't know. The last thing we have here is Activision Blizzard games are coming to Xbox Game Pass. We knew they would, starting with Diablo 4 next month. So, Game Pass is getting D4. We've already kind of talked about this, but it will be hitting Game Pass on March 28th. So, during the podcast yesterday, Phil Spencer also revealed that the rich library of games made by the studios under Activision Blizzard are now full games for Xbox Game Pass. That means that franchises like Call of Duty, Warcraft, Overwatch, Diablo, StarCraft, Crash Bandicoot, and many more will eventually make their way to the service. Game Pass will be getting many games eventually. Yeah. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. Like I've said before, they've got a lot of decisions to be made here with the entire portfolio that they brought over from Activision Blizzard, what exactly they want to do with all of it, how much of it they want to be on Game Pass. They've got games that are currently live service games to be, what do they want to put World of Warcraft on Game Pass? How would they do that? You know what I mean? There's a lot of decisions like this that need to be made with current games. Then they've got old games that have been out of service and out of pocket for a while, but they've got the licenses to, and from that acquisition that maybe they want to revamp and start working on again, bringing back into the fold as a modern take on some old historic games and stuff. They've got a lot of work to do. They've got a lot of things to figure out, and they're slowly figuring it out. It takes time, but taking away here, Diablo 4 will be hitting Game Pass on March 28th for everybody that's interested. All right. We jamming. That's the news, guys. That's what we got. Thanks, as always, to everybody that's here and a part of what we do every single day, and specifically right now for everybody that was here and part of this video gaming news segment for today, February 16th. We will get prepared to move on and have our very first gameplay day of Stardew Valley. Holy moly, it's been a long time coming, man. I can't wait. It's going to be a good day. We're going to have fun. For anybody that might be hanging out, if you're not familiar with what we do, if you're watching this live now, even as a VOD later, you're not familiar with what we do here, we are live 6 days a week, every day but Wednesday. We start off at roughly 6 a.m. CST CDT. We kick it off with video gaming news. We try to stay current with what's going on in the industry. Just try to flesh out a lot of these ideas about what's happening in regards to the industry as a whole, whether it be game releases, games being developed, games getting shut down, studios getting shut down, studios being created, studios being acquired, you name it, man. It doesn't matter. If it's important and it's happening in the industry, we try to cover it and talk about what it means for the industry as a whole. A lot of this is about promoting a healthier video gaming industry for us as consumers and video gaming enthusiasts, and maybe highlighting even a lot of these more gross, scummy corporations that try to railroad us quite often here in the industry as the consumers of these products, So if you can dig that, man, come be a part of what we do when we're live. We're always looking for more people to be a part of our community and contribute to what we do here as a whole, whether it be the video gaming news segments or the gameplay segments and all that stuff. We have an awesome community of people here. It's all about spreading good vibes, enjoying video games, an actual community with, you know, substance to it, where we take care of one another. Enjoy, obviously, the world of video games is a big part of what brings us here, but it's about having something long-standing relationship-wise with one another, where we're actually taking care of one another and spreading good vibes, being void of toxicity and negativity, and being civil about things, and just having a good community here. So we have an amazing community. Would love to see more people come be a part of it. So if you can dig what we're doing, dude, come hang out with us. Other than that, man, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind. Happy flipping Friday. And we'll move on and do our first day of Stardew Valley, man. So big love, yo. Spread that stuff around, and I'm going to run us our outro real quick. But as soon as the outro for the video gaming news segment is finished, we will start getting prepared to play our first day of Stardew Valley. So don't you go anywhere. I'll be right back.